Rightmove's relationship with the estate agency industry. Talk to me.
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I think um, there's a lot of noise about the relationship at the moment for obvious reasons. I think Rightmove has, and having been an MD of a estate agency business relatively recently, I know how difficult it can be to negotiate terms um, that are financially acceptable in these challenging market conditions we're in. I think the part that I would look at is that it's still a powerful lead generator. But if you look at the platform, if you look at the management information, the MI that agents
Rightmove
love,
Plus,
yeah,
Intel, they call it now, I think.
yeah, but it's Intel now, but it's still quite dated. You know that what's changed? What has genuinely changed about the Rightmove platform in any degree of noticeability? If you look at the products that Rightmove offer, front of house, you've got your featured properties, you've got your premium listings,
Featured agent,
featured agent.
local homepage.
Yeah, and you've got your at the bottom you get your you can pay to be one of the four agents for evaluation.
It's 5 now, mate.
Oh, is it 5 now?
Yeah, it's like making money.
Yeah.
Okay, do you think? Okay, let's talk about the first thing that always comes up with Rightmove is the way that they just arbitrarily put their fees up 15-20% a year.
For what?
Well, they're
Why do they do it? Why?
well because they can and people will
Exactly.
pay.
Exactly. That's the issue. Is that they feel
Do
they're
you think?
taking advantage of the situation.
Do you think they're worth? I mean, the average agent pays £950 a month. If you go back to 2004, I think it is 2003, somewhere around there, the average was £183, give or take a few pounds. And today, if Rightmove had put up by inflation, it would be just over 300. So the question is this: should have they just put it up by inflation, or do we just look at the cost, or do you look at the worth that they provide? I mean, you've been in agency slightly longer than me, not much more though. How much was a newspaper costing you a week back in the 90s?
A couple of £100.
See, a couple of £100, 300 quid 3 years, 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, would be worth £600-700 now,
Yeah.
a week,
Yeah.
which means that you'll be paying £2,000 a month for your newspaper.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, £950 a month for Rightmove looks damn good value for money.
Well, if you look at an agent's marketing spend overall,
Yes.
which is how you have to look at it
Of
on
course
your
it is.
P&L, you've lost your
Yes.
newspaper spend. So that's typically 25 grand, 30 grand a
Yeah,
year.
there you go.
You're not spending that now, but the big part that you're spending money on is two things you should be spending money on. There's how your portal presence, your digital presence, and then there's your prospecting, which can be also digital, but also the physical prospecting. Um, and the line that obviously I'm involved with at the moment is the tech line, where you've got
Yeah,
these.
because you're with ActivePipe at the
Yeah.
moment, which is like a best way to describe it is a very fancy way of it's an email system that emails stuff out, but then monitors what people are clicking on it and then tells the next who to ring.
Yeah.
My words, not yours.
Yeah, exactly. It means agents can have more effective phone
Okay.
calls. But the point that I was making with tech, and obviously when we're meeting,
Yeah, because we're not doing a sales.
no, when I'm meeting with agents, they talk about obviously all of the tech that they're involved with, and that cost. If we go back to the marketing spend that an agent is spending on other tech is possibly another 2 to 3 grand a month. So there's your money that you would have spent on your newspaper being spent on something else. And then the big one is now you've got the Rightmove spend's gone up, and then you've got Zoopla and on the market as well. Now there's a number of agents that are doing all three.
Do you think that's wise?
I think it's a little bit like if we go back to the way we used to use newspapers. You were too scared to come out of a
I
newspaper.
think it is genuinely fear, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you look at if you've got a good proposition, and I think it is this sounds a bit fluffy, but I think if your business is strong enough in your local market, you should have the strength in character to reduce your portal spend and decide which one that you want to partner with to get the best value.
I mean, I have quite a few clients with my business because I help letting and estate agencies grow their businesses, who've actually come off all the portals, and it's quite a scary thing to do. Now, if you just take off the portals and don't do anything in return, you're going to die.
Yeah.
But there are some certain things that they've been doing. Facebook advertising particularly works particularly well. Other techniques are available, but they're the ones that are spot on. What about their attitude to the industry? Rightmove's.
Well, I think there's been a concern about the arrogance that's out there,
Yes.
particularly what I call the coalface. So your account managers meeting with agents that, I used to have a great relationship with account managers, and it felt like, for a number of years, it felt like a partnership, that they were genuinely helping your business. And that's changed.
Yes.
And the feedback I hear from other agents in the industry is very consistent on that front.
Good. What? Bad?
Bad.
Well, interestingly, it was only last week that I went down to Soho Square and spoke with some board level people, and that shocked them. Genuinely shocked them. Phrases like "you need us more than we need you" is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
And the problem is that we as human beings, it only takes one person to say one bad thing, and then it sullies everyone else. Because I know damn well there's some amazing local account managers out there that are helpful.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're spending £1,000 a month, or you've got all these optimizer packages or whatever they're called this week, £2,000 a month, they need to become almost like the voice of the industry, like a partner, and they're not. I think they lack empathy. But again, if I'm being straight with you, I'm quite disappointed with the lack of a human face with Zoopla. And again, think about it. What's your thoughts on the market?
Well, I think we've got to go back to the way that On the Market was set up. It was set up by estate agents for estate agents,
Yes.
and it was derived to fill a void that the agents thought at the time was there.
Okay.
Now, I think in practice, the first few years of On the Market has been bumpy.
Yes.
And that's for lots of reasons. The one portal rule was an issue. I think it worked when Ian did it with prime location because that was a different era. I just don't think it worked effectively for the launch of On the Market. But now, with a lot more freebies being thrown around, they're starting to get a bit more traction from within the industry.
Interestingly, though, some of those freebies are running out, and I'm here,
This month and next month, most of them are actually.
And again, interestingly, I'm hearing some very interesting conversations in the industry. Do you think On the Market could do better with their marketing of themselves in the industry?
I think they need to spend more on it. I think we always say that, don't we, about portals? But
So what? Spend more on what?
Well, I think spend more on making sure that customers know what On the Market is.
Okay, so that's the punters. That's your consumers.
Yeah.
What about winning hearts and minds in the estate agency?
Well, I think the key part there is that they need to learn a trick or two from how Rightmove used to be and have really good account managers in the field. Because one of the things I had a problem, I really liked the premise of On the Market, but the problem I had was I never felt it integrated with their business. There was lack of contact unless I was contacting them with a problem.
I jokingly say to my guys, I'm more likely to be able to speak with the Prime Minister than speak to anyone on the market.
I don't think the Prime Minister is speaking to anybody at the moment.
No. But honestly, I just feel that their marketing department are being very arm's length. They need to be winning hearts and minds in the industry, because that's basically why they were set up. And if they're not careful, they'll just turn into Rightmove Mark 3.
But there is an opportunity for On the Market.
There is. I think it's a great opportunity. I just wish they get their heads outside their backsides and start talking to the industry, as opposed to, well, I'm sorry, I'll get off my horse. What about Zoopla?
I think Zoopla has gone about it in a different way. They've tried to add other income streams to their proposition, which I think is quite clever. Again,
Do like a human face though, don't
They
they?
do, yeah.
I mean, you think Rightmove, it's Miles, isn't it? They,
Yeah.
they wheel him out all the time. Lovely guy. Used to be my boss's boss. So
Oh, really?
yeah, nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to Zoopla. Sorry. What do you think they should do more of?
Well, I think they do need to have more of a human face.
Okay.
I think they need to take.
Because they're owned by the Americans, Silver Lake now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think they're looking to do a lot of work behind the scenes. I understand, to try and address that. And a key part for what they're looking to do is to make sure that they're really promoting everything that they offer an agent. At the moment, I think it's a bit confused. There's so many income streams, there's so many facets to their business now with because they've been through an acquisitive stage of their growth. I think their proposition's a bit misunderstood.
Yeah, I think all three of them are kind of hiding too much behind their brands, and we need more of a human face to them, to internally within the industry.
Yes.
So we can find out a bit more about them and find out what makes them tick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely. We could carry on about it for years, but we won't. But there you go. Thanks very much.